Welcome back. In the final part of this session, we will explore product differentiation, which, like advertising, is a non-price variable that firms use to compete upon. Also, as with price discrimination, it is a means by which firms can segment the market. And again, product differentiation is prevalent in monopolistic and oligopolistic markets, and it is used by firms to capture and expand market share so as to maximize their profits. In this session, we will look at one particular model of product differentiation, that of Calvin Lancaster, which was published in the Journal of Political Economy, one of the top 5 economics journals in the world, way back in 1966. So what is product differentiation? Put simply, product differentiation involves a firm making efforts to make consumers perceive its product as being different from others in the market. It is based upon consumer perception. For instance, think about bottled water. There are several brands offering water from various natural springs. For example, we have Buxton water here in the UK, or there is Perrier water from France. Coca-Cola sells Dasani, which is actually tap water, and people buy it because they perceive it to be better than water from a tap. Through product differentiation, a firm can set itself up to avoid damaging price competition by creating brand loyalty, or it may be able to carve out a niche in the market. In essence, the firm is trying to cater for different segments of the market. Or perhaps the firm can offer different versions of the product. And you often see this in cereals, cars, razor blades and software products, where the consumer can self-select the package they desire. For instance, with Microsoft Office, you either purchase a basic student version, or for a high price, you can purchase the professional version, which has more features. Similarly, with Gillette razor blades, you can purchase a basic version with 1 blade, or the more expensive Mash 3 Power Glade, which has 5 blades. In each case, what the firm is trying to do is to cater for different consumer types, i.e., it is trying to segment the market. How do firms differentiate their products? Well, product differentiation is largely achieved through advertising, which we covered earlier, and research and development expenditure. Both of these incur fixed costs to the firm, which must be recouped in the long run. With regard to R&D, patents and laws of copyright and recognised trademarks generally support product differentiation, since they make the product difficult for rivals to imitate. There are different types of product differentiation. First, we have horizontal product differentiation. And here the products differ, but they are of similar quality. These differences can be between competing firms' products. For example, you could be using the economics textbook by Michael Parkin, or instead you might decide to choose the textbook by John Sloman, also called Economics. Both of these textbooks offer similar insights, and they are of similar quality, but they are different in their own way. Or consider mortgages. You might decide to have an HSBC mortgage, or maybe a Barclays mortgage. In both cases, there are no real differences in quality of service between the products. Or with horizontal product differentiation, the differences can be between the firm's own products. For example, a firm could offer a different version of the product. Santander, for instance, offers a range of mortgage products: a fixed rate mortgage, a tracker mortgage, a discount mortgage. But each of these products has its own distinct features. There are not necessarily any differences in service being offered or even in the overall price. Secondly, there is vertical product differentiation. This is where the products differ not only in their features, but also in terms of the quality being offered. Again, these differences can be between competing firms' products. Clearly, a BMW is a higher quality car than, say, a Lada, but you will pay a higher price for a BMW. Similarly, a Byron burger is possibly of a higher quality than one, say, from McDonald's. But there can also be quality differences between the firm's own products. For example, suppose you decide to go to a sports stadium to watch, say, a football match or a cricket match. Then there are a choice of seats and packages you can choose from. You may decide to sit behind the goal on a cheap seat, or perhaps you prefer a nice seat by the halfway line, for which you'll pay more. If we want to understand how firms can successfully segment markets, then Calvin Lancaster's characteristics model is a good place to start. Rather than simply looking at the prices of goods and services, Lancaster reframed the consumer choice problem in what became known as hedonistic price theory. Lancaster suggested goods and services should instead be viewed as consisting of a bundle of characteristics in which consumers have clear preferences, and these characteristics are a key determinant in the choice of goods a consumer will buy. Lancaster then argued that firms needed to identify the key characteristics and develop their products accordingly if they were to be successful in segmenting the market. So what are these characteristics? Well, it depends on the product and the consumer, and in particular the characteristics that the average consumer values the most. So for instance, consider cars. The most important characteristics could be safety and speed. We all know that a Volvo car is renowned for being very boxy, but it's safe. It is like driving in a cage. Whereas a Ferrari is a very stylish, sexy motor, but it puts less emphasis upon safety. And if you end up in a crash, well, it's not going to be very nice. With sports tickets, the important characteristics could be the action view and the matchday hospitality. So imagine you're going to a Premier League football game. Well, you could opt for an executive box and quaff the champagne and smoke the cigars and eat caviar. But the view of the action is slightly obscured when watching behind the screen in the box. Or you could choose to get close to the pitch by sitting in the stand, but the catering is not that good. Drawing on the football example, we will proceed by presenting an abridged version of Calvin Lancaster's model, and we will use the two axes to capture the units of characteristics embodied in the football ticket. In this case, we will assume the two most important characteristics are units of action view and units of hospitality. Consumers, of course, will have clear preferences over these characteristics. And recall, from demand theory, we model preferences using indifference curves. Here, and for simplicity, we will assume these indifference curves are nice and convex. On each indifference curve, this consumer is indifferent between consuming various combinations of units of action view and units of hospitality. However, the consumer prefers to be on a higher indifference curve, where she will be able to enjoy more units of both characteristics. In this case, while the consumer is indifferent between points B and C, both of these points are preferable to point A. On this slide, we introduce the products. We have two types. First, package A, and this has relatively more units of action view. Perhaps it's a seat in the stands, but it has less hospitality. And then we have package B, which contains relatively more units of hospitality. Perhaps it is an executive box. Points further along each line have more of both characteristics. A star, for instance, has more of both characteristics than point A. So at A star, supporters can perhaps enjoy a premium seat and better catering outlets, while those who opt for point A get a standard seat ticket and lower quality catering. The points A star, A and C represents the quantity of characteristics per pound spent in a particular package. Any new products or packages would originate from the origin. Having considered preferences and products, we now need to consider affordability. In this diagram, we've added a third package, which we will come back to. Affordability depends upon the price, but also a consumer's income. If prices are at ACB, then the consumer's affordable set, or budget constraint, is bounded along ACB. If the football club decide to raise the prices of each package by the same amount, the choice boundary shifts inwards but retains the same shape. This is not shown in this diagram. However, if the price of one package, in this case package C, rises alone, the shape of the affordable boundary changes. So, if the price of package C rises to that shown at C star, then the affordable boundary is A C star B. Recall from consumer choice theory that in order to solve the consumer choice problem, we need to combine budget constraints with indifference curves. Consumers have subtly different preferences over the core characteristics, and this, along with the pricing decisions of firms and the consumer's income, will dictate which product each consumer will choose. This consumer, and we'll call her Pepper by the way, prefers to sit in the seats, where she is on the highest possible indifference curve, I2, given the affordable set, given by the line AB. In contrast, this consumer, whom we'll call George, prefers an executive box. This is because, given the set of prices, his income, and his preferences, he decides to maximise his utility at point B, which is bounded by the affordable set AB. The key idea is that both Pepper and George are each happy in the sense that they are able to identify which of the characteristics mixes embodied in the two packages currently in offer, and which of these packages fit their preferences the best. But what about Susie Sheep, you may ask? Well, as you can see, given the set of prices, her income and preferences, she is indifferent between points A and B. She would, though, prefer to be on a higher indifference curve, say I3, and enjoy a package that is in between package A and package B. But what can she do? How can the football club accommodate her? One solution for Susie is to alternate between both packages, possibly sitting in the stands one week and then enjoying the executive box the following week. In this case, Susie might first choose package A, which is a seat in the stands, and consume OJ units of hospitality and OH units of action view until she reaches point R. She will then switch to the executive box and consume HD units of action view and JG units of hospitality. This enables her to reach point C, which is her optimal point. Note that the distance RC is parallel to package B. This reflects that the same proportion of each characteristic, action view and hospitality, is being consumed. This is consistent with her now consuming the executive box package. Alternatively, Susie could have reached point C by starting off in the executive box, reaching point M, and then switching to the stands. Since CRMO is a parallelogram, both ORC and OMC are equally attractive routes to yield the same level of satisfaction. In short, the preceding analysis provides a rationale for a new package to cater for consumers such as Susie Sheep. If there are sufficient consumers like Susie, then a gap appears in the market. This is an opportunity for football clubs to introduce an affordable product which combines a wider mix of both characteristics. I have suggested here that perhaps they may offer a matchday package which includes a pre-match dinner with a compere, entertainment and a nice seat in the stand. And indeed, in recent years, football clubs have started to offer this type of matchday package. Susie types will purchase the new product, while Pepper and George types will stick to their preferred choices. What do we require of preference distributions for market segmentation of this sort to be likely? Recall that introducing a new product typically carries a fixed cost of development. In our football example, this could mean building new executive boxes or entertainment facilities. Therefore, firms require segments to be composed of a sufficiently large number of consumers so that the revenues earned from introducing new products or packages cover this cost. Here, the blue shaded areas highlight segments of football supporters. The larger the blue shape, the more supporters in that particular segment. Football clubs therefore need to identify the different preference segments and possibly tailor the packages to cater for them. Lancaster's approach clarifies the important notion that firms, by identifying particular groups of consumers who have strong preferences over product characteristics, can segment the market by introducing or tailoring new products and packages accordingly and therefore make profits. At the same time, market segmentation can enable firms to reduce the product space for rivals. For example, Kellogg's offer a range of cereals and these cater for different tastes. They literally take up significant shelf space in the aisles of supermarkets, and there is less space for rival products. Also, by offering a variety of products, the firm's reputation might be enhanced. These things can reduce the price elasticity demand and constitute a barrier to entry in the market, thus reducing price competition and providing incumbent firms with a degree of monopoly power to make supernormal profits. In terms of reading, there is likely to be something in the textbook on product differentiation, though the treatment is likely to be quite minimal. Those interested in Lancaster's full model, which is more advanced, can pursue it in the reading from Ferguson's book called Business Economics, a copy of which I placed on Moodle. You may have to download each slide separately. I have also put some links to websites on Moodle that explore Lancaster's approach in more depth, though again, you need to be careful as these links might be quite technical in places.